All right, Matt Steinmetz, Al the Guru Johnson with you, and we always get right to him. Ross Tucker, 95.7 The Game's Odyssey Insider. What's up, Ross? How you doing, man?
What's up? I am doing well. Probably not as well as you guys are doing. I mean, it wasn't that long ago when Guru was calling for, Kyle Shanahan to be fired, and now everybody thinks they're going to win the Super Bowl. I mean, in all sincerity, I'm not saying that to bust Guru's chops. I'm saying it more to be it's just wild how things can change.
It is, Ross, and I told the listeners and Steiny, my partner, I've got flowers and chocolates, and I come back and try to knock on the door. So, I mean, this is incredible. And I'll ask you this, because we just talked about it. You look around the league, you look at what Dable's done in New York. Kyle's on his third-string quarterback, and a lot of people want that label lifted. But to me, it's what it is and what he came in as. Who's your coach of the year?
I think it's Dable. It's funny because a lot of people, obviously in Philadelphia, think it should be Sirianni. I think Kyle Shanahan has a really strong argument. I think Dan Campbell has a really strong argument, especially weren't they 1-6 at one point?
Yes.
But you look at the Giants roster, man. It's not that good. I mean, that is not a very good roster. He's made Daniel Jones look by far the best he's ever looked, I think, which is very impressive and deserves a lot of credit. They made the playoffs with a game to go. I mean, this has been but they've been the worst franchise in the NFL over the last 5 years in terms of wins and losses. So I think it's stable.
Ross Tucker joined us on 95.7 The Game. Ross, obviously you and I are from back east originally, and I always like to kind of get the measure of the fan base. So, if you put the 49ers situation back in Philadelphia, let's say, and they're 13-4, but they're, you got Brock Purdy. You're not going to have Jalen Hurts. You got your third stringer, whoever that was, and he's a rookie, but you have the exact same team that the Niners have. What would the expectations be in Philadelphia, knowing that on the one hand you got a team that's kind of loaded, but on the other hand you have a rookie quarterback drafted in the 7th round who doesn't have a lot of experience? How would a fan weigh that in another city or in Philadelphia?
Their expectation would be the Super Bowl.
To win it or make it?
I think to win it.
Okay.
The way the Niners. I mean, look, I do power rankings on the Ross Tucker Football Podcast.
Yeah,
I've got the Niners number 1 again this week. I have had them that way the last couple weeks. I think they're the best team in the NFL right now. That doesn't mean they'll win it. They still got to win 4 more games. Winning 14 in a row sounds very difficult in my mind. And it's not going to be an easy path, having to more than likely go to Philadelphia and then face some type of stud AFC quarterback, whether it's Josh Allen or Mahomes or Burrow or whatever. So I understand why it's not the most likely scenario, but it's really, really impressive. I think when you get to this point when you've won 10 in a row and you got the number 1 defense and, it's long enough now that people don't really care about how Purdy got there. They just care about what they've seen since he's been there. And in Philadelphia, I mean, look, a lot of people in Philadelphia think the Niners have a great chance to go to the Super Bowl and win it. And that's not even in San Francisco.
Wow, that's heavy. I'll tell you this, Ross, just selfishly, I want to see the Niners and Kansas City. And that goes back to 19, that Super Bowl. But what the Chiefs did to the Niners in their own stadium this season. So I want to see Andy Reid v. Kyle Shanahan. But I got to ask you this because I know you cover the league. I told Steiny yesterday, and I mean it, Ross, I knew McCaffrey was good, but I had forgot about him in Carolina. There wasn't too many meaningful games. He had been hurt. Has he done anything to remind you, or did you not forget just how badass he is?
Yeah, I didn't know if he would ever get back to this. After the injuries in Carolina, and they just used him so much there. I mean, I did it. You guys got to Google this, but I think I was writing maybe for The Athletic. But there were 2 years in Carolina where he was on the field for more than 150 snaps than any other running back in the league. That's like 3 games worth, guys. And that was why I was saying he shouldn't even report to training camp unless they give him a new contract or mini camp. And I think they did. Then maybe they read my article. I don't know. But he just got used so much, even at Stanford. And then with the Panthers, I didn't know how much he still had in him. But obviously he is a fantastic football player who, Kyle knew. Kyle and John Lynch knew, and they're not messing around, and it's a big reason why they're as good as they are.
I mean, I'm just looking at his 19, Ross, because you brought it up, and it looks to me like he touched the ball over 400 times. 287 rushing attempts and 116 receptions. Man.
Yeah, but listen, that also that's a lot. But it's even because the other plays where he's out in the field but doesn't get the ball, a lot of times he's blocking.
Right.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's just, which will be interesting, by the way. It'll be interesting to see exactly how good he'll be the next couple of years.
Yeah, it's a good point. Ross Tucker, 95.7 The Game. If you don't know, Ross does a lot of work for the Eagles. Very familiar with that team. And that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping San Francisco goes to Philly in the NFC Championship. What is going on with Jalen Hurts? And is he 100%? Or if not, what's the number?
No, he's not 100%. They've been very clear about that. They didn't have any design runs for him. They got trying to get the ball out quick. He's definitely not 100%. And they've been very clear about that. But that's also part of the reason I think why they played him against the Giants was to make sure they won so he could get another 2 weeks off, really. I think he'll be a lot closer to 100% in 2 weeks. And at that point, I mean, it's win or go home. My guess is they'll start to use him on the run game more because they struggled in the red zone against the Giants. But usually in the red zone, they run Hurts a lot.
Right.
And they didn't run him at all.
Ross, the first game between the Niners and Seahawks, Trey Lance got hurt. He was here in San Francisco, but the Niners dominated him. And depending on who you talk to, the second game, Thursday night, was 21-13, went down to the wire. How hard is it for one team to beat another team 3 times in a row? And are you giving the Birds a chance this Saturday?
Well, first of all, the Birds are the Eagles, Guru. Like we got.
I was gonna say Sea Hags. I was like, you know what?
Now you can go Hawks. You can say Hawks for them, but they're definitely not the Birds. Like that goes through. That goes right through Steiny and I. Like
there's no doubt.
I can have it.
Eagles fans only.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah. Atlanta online
number
one.
2, no, they don't have a chance to win that game. I mean, never say never. But unless Smith throws a couple bombs to Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, I don't see how they win the game. I do think the spread is interesting. 10.5. I kind of like Seattle, I guess, to get a backdoor cover. 9.5. I'd probably lean to the Niners, but Niners feel like they're on a mission right now. Boy, that'd be like one of the all-time playoff upsets. It really would be the way the Niners are playing if Seattle beat them.
Yeah. Hey, Ross, real quick. So what exactly do you do for the Eagles?
I do the preseason games on TV.
Okay.
And I do the pregame show on the radio. And then I do some stuff during the week, like everybody has like game day morning shows.
Gotcha.
I do some stuff on those.
So it's Merrill Reese and Mike Quick on the play-by-play.
Yeah, those guys are still doing it. They've been doing it for a while. Merrill, I think, is 80 and has been doing it since the 70s.
Yeah, for sure. He's been there for
Ross,
let
me ask you this before we let you go. If you can do this, Ross, I'm giving you an exercise. Take your allegiance away. Give the Bay Area your Super Bowl pick right now.
Well, in a situation like this, I'll pretty much always say Eagles, Chiefs.
Wow.
I'll go with the number 1 seed because if I'm going to give my best, put my best fourth and my best effort forth, I'm going to go with the teams at home field advantage, the teams that are playing one less game, because you never know. Honestly, there's only 5 teams, though, I can have any vision of going to the Super Bowl. It's the Eagles in San Francisco in the NFC, Bills, Chiefs, Bengals, AFC.
Yeah.
If anybody else crashed that party, I'd be really surprised.
Yeah. Hey, Ross, thank you as always, and we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great. See you guys.
All right. That's Ross Tucker.